Hey, it's Dr. Nadia here, founder and CEO of Doyen Leadership, and I wanted to pop in today to talk about rejection. So last week, I hosted a webinar called Sleaze to Ease, 3 Keys to Powerful Sales Conversations, and I wanted to dispel the myth that you had to be sleazy or pushy, arm twist people, be manipulative in order to be successful in sales. And one of the keys that I shared during this training was to set a goal to get 100 no's. Now, most people, when I say that, they have this expression and this reaction of, Dr. Nadia, you are crazy. That is just, no, absolutely not. Like, why would I do such a thing? Like, that is just crazy talk. And I get it. And so I talk about, the process. I give more input on why I feel that is a great idea, and, all of that great stuff. So I did this last week, and then this past Saturday, Toby and I were getting ready to go out for our date day, and I happened to check my phone because, we're all connected, right? And I had a message about, how someone had attended the webinar. They were really excited. They liked it. They weren't joining the challenge, but they were thinking about the 100 no's. Because the other thing that I did was I offered people the opportunity to join me for a 30-day challenge. And part of that focus is getting 100 no's. And so I just started thinking about this. One, I was super excited because it was the first time I had given that webinar, and I was like, woohoo! Someone is getting value, great feedback. I'm always looking for feedback and ways to improve the content that I delivered. And so I was sharing this feedback with one of my friends and colleagues, and she wrote me back. She goes, great distinction for you, for those who are thinking about it versus those who say yes to getting 100 no's. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. But here's one of the things that I did think about after, that, and Toby and when I went to the movies and we did our thing, was there is a big distinction between thinking about it and saying yes. And here's what happens when you say yes. Saying yes is a huge commitment. It takes courage to say yes to getting 100 no's. It takes courage to say yes to even entering into sales conversations, but to do that knowing that part of your goal and your mission is to talk to enough people in a condensed amount of time to get 100 no's. That takes a lot of courage. Number two to that is 100 no's sucks. It really does. Trust me, I've gotten several no's. I've gotten 100. I know what it's like. I remember 2 years ago, I was hosting an event called Womanpreneur 15, 2015, and I was really excited. I was really excited about this event. It was the first time I'd ever done an event like this, and there was just so many different moving parts, and part of that was people paid to participate as speakers to share their information and be a part of this platform. And so I had a lot of interviews, people I was talking to. It was a lot of moving parts. People spoke either digitally, virtually, or they flew into Phoenix and they spoke in person. And so it was just this massive event that I was hosting, and I had a lot vested in this. To get the hotel room, to put it out there, to promote it. Like, there were a lot of things going on. And so all the things that I tell people, like, don't be emotionally invested and don't take it personal, like, yeah, whatever. All of it felt very personal, and there was just a lot. But the cool thing was, I had a lot of appointments. There was a lot of interest. It was a really great event. And so this particular day, it was a Friday. One of these days, this one of those days you just like never forget. Because the night before that, so that Thursday, I had taken a red eye to Dallas, Texas. I was speaking at an event that Saturday. And so I flew in, and I don't know what I was thinking. So clearly, they had no real clear thought on how all of this unfolded. But not only did I have a red eye the night before that put me in Dallas really early, like 6-ish in the morning, Dallas time. And by the time we got to the hotel, it was still really early. And, my room wasn't ready yet. And so I was just kind of hanging out. And fortunately, it didn't take until 3 p.m. for my room to get ready. But, there was that delay. Here's the thing though, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. There's the time change, traveled, late night travel. If you've ever taken a red eye flight, there's a reason why they call it a red eye. And I check into my room, and you would think that at this point, I would be really excited about the opportunity to go to sleep. However, that opportunity was not available to me because I had sales calls all day long. And it was one of those days when I was so exhausted. If it was any of those days where I could just cancel everything, but I was like, you know what? The time is crunched. The event was the following month. Honestly, I think it was like maybe a few weeks. Like, it was crazy. It was just one of those, it doesn't make sense to cancel. Just suck it up and do it. So I did it, and I had all these conversations, and I did what I had to do, and I got through it. But here's the thing, and one of the reasons why I remember that day so well is because, one, I had so many back-to-back appointments on the day, and I really just wanted to sleep all day. And two is all I got that day were no's all day long. And I was so exhausted. It wasn't like I could say I was really exhausted and I had taken this trip and it was a red eye and I was really, really sleepy, but I got a lot of yeses and that just kind of helped rejuvenate me. No, it was no after no after no after no after no after no after no. So I know that getting 100 no's sucks. But here are some of the things that it does do. It builds up your muscles. It builds up your courage, your tenacity, and you do get yeses. You may have a full day like I did where there were all no's. I don't even remember how many calls I had that day or how many people I talked to. It was a lot. And there was a lot of no's in a single day, enough to make you just want to say, screw this, I'm going home. But I kept going. And like I said, it was an amazing event. I had a lot of yeses. And people are still talking about that event. It was so awesome. I'm glad I went through with it, but it took a lot of courage. And it took me getting into action. It took me saying yes. Yes to putting myself in a position to be rejected, but it also took me saying yes. Yes to putting myself in a position to succeed. Because I could have easily have said no. I could have just said, you know what, it's too scary. I won't do this alone. I'm just not going to put myself out there. And I never would have known how great that event could have been if I hadn't said yes. And that is one of the reasons why I created the challenge, because I know part of the reason why we don't put ourselves out there is we don't want to do it by ourselves. And sometimes, that saying, misery loves company. Well, it's like, well, other people are in this with me. But I also know that putting yourself out there and making the commitment to just go for it and get in conversation is a game changer. I have seen so many clients that have said yes, that are just amazed at the results that they get. And when you're in community on those days like that Friday in Dallas, when you do have a day and it's like, heaven help me, I got all no's, you have a support system that's there rallying behind you to help you move forward. And so if you're like, you know what, Dr. Nadia, I am willing to say yes. Say yes to me in spite of the fear, because again, it takes a lot of courage. If you're willing to do that, then I invite you to stop thinking about it, to get off the fence, because the fence hurts, and make a firm decision to say yes to your success. And join me. We start June 19th. It's going to be fabulous. 30 days of just more fun, more clients, more revenue. Trust me, we can make it happen. Head on over to doyenleadership.com/challenge. That's doyenleadership.com/challenge to join in the fun, because you don't have to be sleazy. You don't have to be manipulative, and you can build a successful business even if you're a little afraid. But I'll tell you what, if you say no to yourself, if you allow yourself to get stuck in the land of indecision, nothing will ever change. This is Dr. Nadia, your champion for womenpreneurs, and I invite you to join me for the 30-day revenue challenge starting June 19th. I'll see you there.